The cold sleep chamber made a soft hissing sound as warm air filled the space. Commander Lee Tae-ho felt his body slowly coming back to life after what seemed like a very long dream. His eyes opened slowly, and he saw bright white lights above him. The metal walls around him looked exactly the same as they did when he first went to sleep, but something felt different. Very different. Tae-ho sat up slowly and felt his muscles were stiff like old wood. His brain started connecting to the ship computer through the small device in his head. Numbers and information began flowing into his mind like water from a broken dam. The date made him stop breathing for a moment. Year 870,000 AD. He had been asleep for over 800,000 years. The ship computer spoke to him in a calm voice. Commander Lee Tae-ho, awakening sequence complete. All vital signs normal. Welcome back to the conscious world. Tae-ho stood up on shaky legs and walked to the main viewing window of his ship called New Seoul. What he saw outside made his heart beat very fast. The stars looked different. The patterns he remembered from old Earth were completely gone. New colors filled the space around him. Purple and green lights danced between distant suns. "Computer, show me the galaxy map," he said. A large blue screen appeared in front of him. The map showed thousands of bright spots representing different worlds and civilizations. But these were not the empty spaces humanity had left behind when they went to sleep. The galaxy was now full of life, full of alien cities and strange technologies. "How many alien species are there now?" Tae-ho asked. "Scanning indicates approximately 47,000 different intelligent species across known space, Commander. Most appear to be at various levels of technological development." Tae-ho felt dizzy. When humanity had gone into deep sleep, they had found only a few simple alien life forms. Now the galaxy was like a busy marketplace, full of different kinds of beings. Dr. Park Sojin woke up in the science section of the ship at the same time. She was the ship's expert on alien life and biology. Her first action was to run a full scan of nearby space to see what kinds of creatures now lived among the stars. The results shocked her completely. Her instruments detected millions of different life forms on nearby planets. Some breathed oxygen. Like humans, others lived in poisonous gas clouds. Some were made of pure energy. Others were tiny machines that thought like living beings. "This is impossible," she said to herself. "Evolution doesn't work this fast." She ran the scans 3 more times. Each time the results were the same. The galaxy had become home to more life forms than she could count. But something was strange about the technology readings. Most of these alien civilizations seemed to be using very basic technology. Their spaceships moved slowly. Their computers were simple. Their weapons were primitive compared to what humans had when they went to sleep. So Jin called Commander Tae-ho on the communication system. "Commander, I think we have a big problem. Or maybe a big opportunity. I can't tell which one yet." Meanwhile, engineer Kim Do-woon was waking up in the engine room. He was responsible for keeping all the ship's technology working properly. As soon as his eyes opened, he began checking all the ship's systems. Everything was working perfectly. The fusion reactors were running smoothly. The faster-than-light engines were ready to go. The artificial intelligence systems were functioning normally. All the technology that had been advanced when humans went to sleep was still working like new. But when Do-woon scanned the technology of nearby alien civilizations, he couldn't believe his eyes. Their most advanced spaceships were slower than the oldest human cargo vessels. Their best computers were less powerful than a human child's learning tablet. How is this possible? He wondered out loud. Do-woon began reading the historical data that the ship's computers had been collecting while humans slept. What he discovered made him call an emergency meeting with the other awakened crew members. In the ship's main meeting room, the 3 humans sat around a table looking at screens, full of information. The story that emerged was both fascinating and terrible. After humans had gone to sleep, alien civilizations had indeed grown and spread across the galaxy. They had built great cities and powerful empires. Some had achieved technology even more advanced than humans possessed, but then something bad kept happening. Every 50 to 100,000 years, these great civilizations would destroy themselves or be destroyed by cosmic disasters. Wars would break out, plagues would spread. Sometimes entire star systems would explode or disappear. The galaxy had experienced what the computer called great resets at least 8 different times. Each time, the most advanced civilizations would fall, and the survivors would have to start over from the beginning. It's like the galaxy keeps forgetting how to be advanced, Sojin said sadly. But we slept through all of it, Taeho realized. We kept all our knowledge and technology safe, while everyone else lost theirs over and over again. Dowoon pulled up comparison charts on the main screen. Look at this. Our basic medical equipment is more advanced than their best hospitals. Our communication systems can send messages across the entire galaxy in minutes. Their fastest messages take months to travel between nearby star systems. The 3 humans sat in silence for a long time, thinking about what this meant. They had gone to sleep as an advanced but not extraordinary civilization. They had woken up as something like gods compared to everyone else in the galaxy. What do we do now? Sojin asked quietly. Taeho looked out the window at all the alien worlds spinning in the distance. We learn more, we make contact carefully, and we try not to scare anyone. But even as he said these words, Taeho knew that their awakening had already changed everything. The galaxy had managed to forget how to reach the stars properly. Humanity had remembered, and that difference was going to change the fate of every living being in known space. The age of human sleep was over. The age of human responsibility was about to begin. Captain Hanmira was the 4th person to wake up on the new Sol. She was in charge of all the military ships in the human fleet. Her job was to protect humanity and explore dangerous places. When she saw the galaxy map for the first time, she knew her job had just become much more complicated. Commander Taeho, we need to send scout ships immediately, she said during their morning meeting. We cannot make good decisions without knowing who our neighbors are, Taeho agreed. Within hours, Mira had prepared 3 small scout ships to visit nearby star systems. The humans did not know this yet. Dr. Sojin joined the first scouting mission to make peaceful contact with aliens. She studied all the alien languages the ship computers had recorded over the centuries. She prepared gifts and peaceful messages. She wanted to show that humans came in friendship. The first star system they visited was controlled by a species called the Vorthan Federation. The Vorthans looked like large lizards that walked on 2 legs. They had built a powerful military empire that controlled hundreds of worlds. Their ships were painted in dark red colors and carried many weapons. When the human scout ship entered Vorthan space, alarms began ringing on every alien vessel in the area. The Vorthans had never seen technology like the human ship before. Their scanners could not understand how it worked. The ship seemed to bend space around itself as it moved. A Vorthan patrol fleet of 20 ships surrounded the single human vessel. The alien commander sent a message that Sojin's computer translated automatically. Unknown vessel, you are carrying stolen ancient technology. Surrender immediately or face destruction. Sojin was confused. Ancient technology. Commander Mira, they think our ship is some kind of old artifact. Mira looked at the Vorthan ships through her viewing screen. They were large and looked dangerous, but her instruments showed they were very primitive. Their weapons could not harm her ship even if she turned off all defenses. Let me talk to them, Sojin said. She sent a peaceful message back to the Vorthans. Greetings, friends. We are humans from the species that has been sleeping for many centuries. We come in peace and wish to learn about your civilization. We have no stolen technology. These ships belong to us. The Vorthan commander did not believe this message. In his mind, no living species could possess such advanced technology. The ship must have been built by the ancients, the legendary beings who had created wonders long ago before disappearing. You lie, the Vorthan replied. No current species has technology this advanced. You have found ancient ruins and stolen their ships. By galactic law, all ancient artifacts must be surrendered to the proper authorities. Sojin tried to explain again, but the Vorthans would not listen. They began moving their ships into attack positions. Mira sighed. She did not want to fight anyone, but she also could not let her ship be captured. Dr. Sojin, please step away from the controls. I need to show them something. The Vorthan ships opened fire with everything they had. Bright energy beams and explosive missiles flew toward the human vessel. The aliens expected to see the ship destroyed, or at least damaged. Instead, something impossible happened. The human ship simply moved away from all the weapons. It did not use engines or thrusters. It just slipped sideways through space like a fish swimming through water. Every shot missed completely. Then the human ship did something that made the Vorthon commander's blood turn cold. It appeared in 3 different places at the same time. The alien sensors could not tell which ship was real. "Impossible," whispered the Vorthon gunner. "Nothing can move like that." Mira was not even using her ship's advanced capabilities. She was just demonstrating basic movement that any human child could do with a toy spacecraft. But to the Vorthons, it looked like magic. The human ship gently pushed one of the Vorthon vessels aside using invisible force fields. The alien ship was not damaged, just moved out of the way like a leaf blown by wind. "Please stop shooting," Sojin sent another message. "We do not want to hurt anyone. We just want to talk." But the damage was already done. The Vorthon commander immediately sent emergency messages to his superiors. Within hours, news of the ancient ship had spread across Vorthon space. At the same time, other human scout ships were making contact with different alien species. Engineer Dawoon was visiting a group called the Ethereal Collective. These aliens were made of pure energy and considered themselves the wisest beings in the galaxy. When Dawoon's ship arrived at their home system, the Ethereals tried to scan his mind to understand his intentions. What they found shocked them completely. Dawoon's brain contained knowledge about science and technology that was far beyond anything they had ever seen. Mathematical formulas that could reshape reality. Engineering principles that could build machines the size of planets. Computer programs that could think faster than entire civilizations. This being comes from the time before, the ethereal leader announced to his people. He carries the knowledge that was lost in the Great Forgetting. Meanwhile, a third human ship was meeting with the Trade Syndicate, a group of alien merchants who controlled most of the galaxy's commerce. When they saw human technology, they immediately saw opportunity. "Name your price," the syndicate leader told the human captain. "We will pay anything for ships like yours. You could become the richest beings in the galaxy." But the human captain politely declined. "We want to understand the current galaxy and find our place in it." The syndicate leader could not understand this response. In his experience, anyone with superior technology used it to gain power and wealth. The idea that humans might have other goals made no sense to him. Within days, news of the returning humans had spread across the entire galaxy. Every species interpreted the information differently. Some aliens began worshipping humans as returning gods. Others saw them as a terrible threat that needed to be destroyed before they could conquer everyone. Still, others tried to figure out how to steal or buy human technology. Religious movements sprang up overnight. Military alliances formed to prepare for human invasion. Trade negotiations began for technologies that humans were not even selling. Back on the New Sol, Commander Tejo watched news reports from across the galaxy with growing concern. "We have created chaos without meaning to," he told his crew. "Half the galaxy thinks we are gods. The other half thinks we are invaders. Both sides are wrong, but no one will listen." Dr. Sojin looked at the star charts, showing military movements. Throughout alien space, they are all preparing for war. "Commander, not with each other, but with us." Tejo realized that humanity's awakening had triggered something that could not be stopped. The galaxy was about to change whether humans wanted it to or not. Engineer Kim Dawoon spent 3 days making a complete list of the differences between human technology and what the aliens were using. The results made him feel sick to his stomach. The gap was not just large, it was almost impossible to believe. "Commander Tejo, you need to see this," Dawoon said as he displayed his findings on the main screen. The comparison charts showed everything. Human ships could travel between galaxies in just a few days. The most advanced alien ships needed several months just to travel between nearby star systems in the same galaxy. Human computers could process more information in 1 second than entire alien planets could handle in a full year. "Look at this medical comparison," Dawoon continued. "Our basic first aid kit can regrow lost arms and legs in minutes. Their best hospitals take months to heal simple broken bones." Dr. Sojin studied the charts with growing worry. "Dawoon, this means we are not just more advanced than them. We are like magic to them. They cannot even understand how our simplest tools work. Before anyone could respond, emergency alarms began ringing throughout the ship. Captain Mira's voice came over the communication system. All senior staff to the bridge immediately. We have a situation in the Kepler sector. When the crew gathered on the bridge, Mira showed them what her sensors had detected. A massive solar flare was about to hit a planet called Nexus Prime. The planet was home to over 50 million alien beings from 12 different species. They had no way to protect themselves from the deadly radiation. Their technology cannot create shields strong enough to block the solar flare, Mira explained. According to my calculations, 90% of all life on that planet will die within 6 hours. The alien governments were already sending rescue ships, but their vessels were too slow and too small. Even working together, they could only evacuate about 2 million beings before the solar flare arrived. Commander Tejo made a decision that would change everything. Captain Mira, take your ship to Nexus Prime. Save as many lives as you can. Sir, if we do this, every alien in the galaxy will see exactly what our technology can do. There will be no hiding our capabilities after this. Then we save lives first and worry about the consequences later. Tejo replied. Mira's ship reached Nexus Prime in less than 20 minutes, traveling a distance that should have taken alien ships 3 weeks. When she arrived, the planet was in complete panic. Millions of beings were trying to flee their cities, but there was nowhere to go. The alien rescue ships were working desperately, but they could only carry a few hundred beings at a time. At their current speed, they would save less than 1% of the planet's population. Mira activated her ship's emergency evacuation systems, technology that humans had designed for moving entire cities during natural disasters. What happened next was recorded by every news organization in the galaxy. Giant transport beams reached down from Mira's ship and began lifting entire buildings full of people into the air. Thousands of beings at a time were safely moved into the ship's massive cargo holds. The ship created temporary living spaces with perfect air, food, and water for every different species on the planet. In just 6 hours, Mira had evacuated all 50 million beings from Nexus Prime. A task that the combined alien fleets could not have completed in 50 years, but the aliens did not see this as a rescue. They saw it as a demonstration of terrifying power. The Vorthan military commander, who witnessed the evacuation, sent an urgent message to his superiors. The humans can move entire populations in hours. If they wanted to invade us, we could not stop them. Our cities would be empty before we knew they were under attack. The Ethereal Collective had a different reaction. Their leader spoke to his people with fear in his voice. These humans have broken the natural order of the galaxy. They possess power that species should not have. They are disrupting the balance that has existed for millions of years. The trade syndicate saw the evacuation and immediately began planning. If we could control even one human ship, we would become the rulers of all trade in the galaxy. We must find a way to capture their technology. Back on Nexus Prime, the solar flare had passed, and Mira was returning the evacuated beings to their homes. But something unexpected was happening on the planet's surface. Thousands of aliens were building shrines and temples dedicated to the humans. They were calling Mira the savior from the stars and creating religions around her rescue. Mission. Dr. Sojin watched the news reports with growing alarm. Commander, they are worshipping Captain Mira as a goddess. This is exactly what we were trying to avoid. The situation got worse when Mira tried to help with the planet's reconstruction. The solar flare had damaged many buildings and power systems. Mira's repair drones could fix everything in a few hours. She sent out small robots that could rebuild entire city blocks in minutes. The robots worked by rearranging matter at the atomic level, turning rubble back into perfect buildings to the aliens watching. It looked like Mira was creating matter from nothing. They saw her robots wave their tools at piles of debris and instantly produce new hospitals, schools, and homes. She creates life from death, whispered one alien observer. She commands the very atoms to obey her will. Within days, news of the miracle of Nexus Prime had spread to every corner of the galaxy. The story grew larger with each telling. Others said she had created an entirely new planet for the refugees. Engineer Duwoon monitored the galactic communication networks and brought disturbing news to the daily briefing. Commander, Three major military alliances have formed in the past week. The Vorthan Federation, the Ethereal Collective, and the Trade Syndicate are all building coalitions specifically to deal with the human threat. What kind of threat? Teho asked. We saved 50 million lives. That is exactly the problem, sir. They are saying that any species with the power to evacuate entire planets in hours also has the power to conquer entire star systems in days. They believe we are planning to take over the galaxy. Dr. Sojin had been studying the alien psychology reports. Commander, I think I understand what is happening. These species have lived through multiple great resets. They have seen advanced civilizations destroy everyone else. In their minds, advanced technology always leads to conquest and destruction. So when they see our technology, Teho realized, they assume we must be planning to destroy them. Exactly. And the more good we try to do, the more scared they become. Every time we help someone, we prove how powerful we are. And to them, power equals danger. Scientist Choi Woo-jin had been analyzing the historical data from the previous Great Resets. He brought even more disturbing news to the meeting. Commander, I have discovered something terrible. The galaxy is approaching another Great Reset right now. The current civilizations are making the same mistakes that caused the previous resets. What kind of mistakes? Miro asked. They are trying to build weapons that can destroy stars. They are experimenting with forces they do not understand. According to my calculations, they will trigger a galactic catastrophe within the next 50 years. The room fell silent as everyone realized what this meant. The galaxy was going to destroy itself again, but this time humanity was awake to see. It happened, and somehow they had become the focus of everyone's fear and hope at the worst possible moment. The greatest military alliance in galactic history was forming in the Andromeda buffer zone. Commander Teho watched the fleet gathering through his long-range sensors and felt his heart grow heavy. 3 million alien ships from dozens of different species were joining together for one purpose: to force humanity into submission. The Vorthan Federation had contributed 1 million warships painted in their traditional dark red colors. The Ethereal Collective had sent energy beings in ships made of pure light. The Trade Syndicate had hired mercenary fleets from across the galaxy. Even species that normally hated each other were working together against the human threat. Commander, we are receiving a joint message from the Allied fleet, reported Dr. Sojin from the communication station. The message appeared on the main screen. It was signed by leaders from 47 different alien governments. The words were simple and direct. To the human invaders, you have 7 days to surrender all advanced technology to the Galactic Council. You will then submit to permanent monitoring and control. If you refuse, the combined fleets of the galaxy will destroy every human ship and settlement. This is not negotiable. Captain Mira studied the tactical display showing the enemy fleet positions. Commander, they have us outnumbered 3 million to 1. In any normal situation, those would be impossible odds. Situation, Engineer Duwoon said quietly. Their 3 million ships combined have less firepower than one of our destroyers. Teho rubbed his forehead. The situation had become exactly what he had feared. We cannot surrender our technology. If we do, they will use it to destroy themselves and trigger another great reset. But if we fight them, we prove that we are the conquerors they think we are. Maybe we do not have to fight them, suggested Dr. Sojin. Maybe we can just show them that fighting is pointless. Scientist Choi Woo-jin had been running calculations on his computer. Idea. What if we demonstrate our defensive capabilities instead of our weapons? Show them that we cannot be harmed, but also that we will not harm them. Teho considered this carefully. It was risky, but it might be the only way to avoid a massacre. Captain Mira, can one of our ships survive an attack from their entire fleet? Mira checked her technical specifications. Sir, one of our destroyers could survive an attack from 1,000 fleets that size. Our shields are designed to protect against star-destroying weapons. Their lasers and missiles would barely register on our sensors. Then we will send one ship to meet their entire fleet. We will let them attack us with everything they have. When they see that we cannot be harmed, maybe they will realize that fighting is useless. 3 days later, Captain Mira piloted the destroyer called Nubusan toward the massive alien fleet. Her ship was only 300 meters long. The largest alien battleships were over 10 kilometers long. But size meant nothing when the technology gap was so enormous as Mira approached the enemy fleet. Communications channels across the galaxy came alive. Every species in known space was watching to see what would happen when the humans finally faced the combined might of galactic civilization. The Vorthan fleet commander sent one final message. "Human ship, you are outnumbered 3 million to 1. Surrender now or face complete destruction." Mira responded calmly. "We come in peace. We do not wish to fight anyone, but we will not surrender technology that you would use to destroy yourselves." "Then you have chosen death," the Vorthan commander replied. The battle began at exactly noon Galactic Standard Time. 3 million alien ships opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams that could melt mountains lit up space like a second sun. Missiles that could destroy cities streaked toward the tiny human vessel. Gravity weapons that could crush planets focused their power on Mira's ship. For 7 minutes, the alien fleet poured everything they had at the lone human destroyer. The combined firepower was enough to sterilize entire star systems. Space itself seemed to burn with the intensity of the attack. When the weapons finally stopped firing, a strange silence fell over the battlefield. Smoke and energy clouds drifted between the alien ships. Every commander stared at their sensors, waiting to see the debris of the destroyed human vessel. But Mira's ship was still there, completely undamaged, not even a scratch on its hull. "Impossible," whispered the ethereal collective leader. "Nothing can survive that much firepower." Mira had not even activated her ship's main shields. She had used only the basic defensive systems that protected human vessels from space dust and radiation. To her, the alien attack had been like raindrops hitting a mountain. "Your weapons cannot harm us," Mira broadcast to the enemy fleet, "but we do not wish to harm you either. Please, let us talk about this peacefully." But the alien commanders were too shocked to think clearly. Some tried to ram their ships into Mira's vessel. Others attempted suicide attacks with nuclear weapons. A few tried to retreat but were stopped by their own allies. Engineer Duwoon was monitoring the battle from the New Sol. "Commander Several, alien ships are trying to ram Captain Mira. She needs to do something or they will destroy themselves against her hull." Mira made a decision that changed everything. She activated her ship's phase-shifting technology. The destroyer became translucent, like a ghost. When the alien ships tried to ram her, they passed completely through her vessel, as if it was made of air. "What kind of demons are these humans?" screamed one alien pilot as his ship flew through Mira's destroyer without touching anything. But Mira was not finished demonstrating human capabilities. She used her ship's gravity manipulators to gently disable the nearest enemy vessels. The alien ships found themselves unable to move or fire their weapons. They were not damaged, just completely powerless. One by one, Mira disabled the entire enemy fleet. 3 million warships became as helpless as toys in the hands of a child. She could have destroyed them all in seconds, but instead, she simply made them unable to fight. The alien commanders realized they were not fighting a battle. They were trying to fight a natural force, like a hurricane or an earthquake. Human technology was so advanced that resistance was meaningless. Some ships immediately surrendered. Others tried to flee, but found their engines would not work. A few attempted to send emergency messages to their home worlds, but even there, communications were blocked by human jamming systems. Dr. Sojin broadcast a message to the disabled fleet. "We are not your enemies. We stopped your attack because we did not want anyone to die today. Your ships are not damaged. Your crews are not harmed. We will release you as soon as you agree to peaceful negotiations." But the psychological damage was already done. The greatest military alliance in galactic history had been defeated by a single human ship, without that ship firing a single weapon. News of the battle spread across the galaxy within hours. Some species immediately declared their surrender to humanity. Others tried to hide their entire civilizations in distant star systems. A few began building primitive weapons, hoping that somehow less advanced technology might work better against the humans. Back on the New Sol, Commander Tejo watched reports from across the galaxy with sadness in his heart. "We have won a battle without fighting it," he said to his crew. "But I fear we have lost the war for peaceful coexistence." Scientist Wu Jin looked at the galactic situation reports with concern. "Commander, the shock of our victory is accelerating the great reset timeline. Some species are already beginning to destroy their own technology rather than let us capture it. Taeho realized that humanity had reached a point of no return. They could not go back to being just another species in the galaxy. Wanted it or not, they had become the dominant power in known space. The only question now was what they would do with that power. 3 weeks after the battle that shocked the galaxy, Commander Taeho stood in his command center, looking at reports that made his heart ache. Half the alien civilizations were destroying their own technology rather than let humans capture it. The other half were begging humanity to become their rulers and solve all their problems. Both reactions were exactly what he had feared. Scientist Choi Woo-jin brought the most disturbing news of all. Commander, my calculations show the Great Reset will begin in less than 30 years now. The shock of our arrival has made the aliens panic. They are making the same mistakes that destroyed previous civilizations, but much faster. Dr. Sojin had been studying the psychological reports from across the galaxy. Some species are committing mass suicide rather than live in a universe where humans exist. Others are fighting wars among themselves, trying to prove they are still strong. The galaxy is tearing itself apart. Engineer Duwoon displayed a map showing the chaos spreading across known space. Sir, we have to do something. If we do nothing, billions of innocent beings will die. But if we intervene, we prove that we really are the galactic overlords. They think we are? Taeho had been thinking about this problem for days without sleep. Finally, he made the decision that would shape the future of every living being in the galaxy. We implement the Galactic Recovery Protocol, he announced to his senior staff. What is that, sir? Asked Captain Mira. We accept the responsibility that the universe has given us. We become the guardians of galactic civilization, whether we want to or not. But we do it in a way that preserves the dignity and freedom of every species. Over the next month, Taeho worked with his team to create a plan that had never been attempted in galactic history. They would guide the development of alien civilizations without conquering them. They would prevent another Great Reset without forcing their technology on anyone. The plan was called the Galactic Recovery Protocol, and it had 3 main parts. First, Engineer Duwoon would establish learning worlds in empty star systems. Any alien species that wanted to study human science and technology could send volunteers to these planets. The learning would be slow and careful, designed to help each species understand new knowledge at their own pace. We will not give them our technology, Duwoon explained to the galactic leaders during a broadcast message. Instead, we will teach them how to build their own versions that work with their existing science. Each species will advance in their own way. Second, Captain Mira would lead human fleets in patrolling the galaxy to prevent wars and disasters. But the human ships would not take sides in conflicts. Instead, they would simply make fighting impossible. When 2 species try to fight each other, we will disable all weapons on both sides, Mira announced during her first patrol mission. We will not choose winners and losers. We will simply remove the ability to cause large-scale destruction. Third, Dr. Sojin would work with alien governments to identify and prevent the mistakes that led to great resets. This was the most difficult part of the plan because it required aliens to trust human judgment about their own civilizations. The first test of the recovery protocol came when the Vorthan Federation tried to build a star-destroying weapon. They believed that if they could threaten to blow up entire solar systems, humans would finally respect their power. Captain Mira arrived at the Vorthan weapons facility with a single ship. She did not attack the station or threaten anyone. Instead, she simply made the weapon impossible to build. Your Star Destroyer will not work, she told the Vorthan engineers politely. The materials you are using will create a chain reaction that destroys your entire home system. We have adjusted the atomic structure of your fuel to make it safe. The Vorthan commander was furious. You have no right to interfere with our internal affairs. You are correct, Mira replied calmly. We have no right to rule you. But we also cannot allow you to accidentally destroy yourselves and take innocent civilizations with you. Your weapon stays disabled, but your people remain free. This became the pattern across the galaxy. Humans would prevent disasters and stop wars, but they would not control alien governments or force anyone to change their way of life. Some species adapted to this new reality better than others. The Trade Syndicate discovered that human protection made commerce much safer and more profitable. With wars eliminated and disasters prevented, they could trade freely across the entire galaxy. They became some of humanity's strongest supporters. The ethereal collective retreated to distant regions of space, saying they needed thousands of years to understand the philosophical implications of human existence. They neither supported nor opposed the recovery protocol, but they stopped trying to fight it. The Vorthon Federation had the most surprising reaction of all. Their military culture actually thrived under human guidance. When they could no longer fight other species, they turned their discipline and organization toward exploration and construction projects. "Humans have made us better warriors by taking away our wars," explained the Vorthon commander, who had once demanded human surrender. "Now we fight against ignorance and poverty instead of against other civilizations." But not every species accepted human guidance willingly. Some aliens chose to hide in distant star systems. Using primitive technology that humans could not easily detect, others deliberately kept their civilizations at low technology levels to avoid human attention. Dr. Sojin established a policy of respecting these choices. Any species that wants to remain isolated can do so. Any civilization that chooses to stay at a primitive level will be protected from outside interference. Freedom includes the freedom to reject progress. Scientist Wu Jin monitored the galactic situation and brought regular reports to Commander Taeho after 2 years of the recovery protocol. The results were encouraging but complicated. "The immediate threat of a great reset has been eliminated," Wu Jin reported. "However, galactic civilization is now permanently dependent on human oversight. Without us, the current stability would collapse within a generation." "Are we creating a galaxy of children who can never grow up?" Taeho asked. "Not exactly, sir. Some species are advancing rapidly under our guidance. Others are finding their own paths to development. But all of them know that humans are watching and will intervene if they make catastrophic mistakes." 5. Years after implementing the recovery protocol, Taeho received a message that surprised him. It came from a species called the Zenith Builders, who had never contacted humans before. "Great humans," the message began, "we are a young civilization that achieved space travel only recently. We have studied your actions across the galaxy, and we understand what you have done. You have sacrificed your own freedom to preserve ours. You have accepted the burden of being alone at the top so that the rest of us can grow safely below. We cannot offer you friendship as equals, because we are not your equals. But we can offer you gratitude and respect. Thank you for choosing to be our guardians instead of our conquerors." Taeho read the message several times before calling his senior staff together. "Do you regret what we have done?" he asked them. Dr. Sojin answered first. "We saved billions of lives and prevented the destruction of galactic civilization. How could anyone regret that?" Engineer Duwoon nodded. "We are using our gifts to help others reach their potential. That is what advanced beings should do." Captain Mira was more thoughtful. "I regret that we had no choice, but I do not regret the choice we made." Scientist Wu Jin had the final word. "Commander, we discovered that with great power comes great responsibility. We could have ignored that responsibility, but then we would not have been worthy of the power." Taeho looked out at the stars and thought about the galaxy that humanity now protected. They had never wanted to become galactic guardians, but the universe had given them no other option. Humanity had woken up to find themselves alone at the top of the galactic hierarchy. Now they would spend the rest of their existence making sure that no other species ever had to be alone the way humans were. It was a heavy burden, but it was also the greatest gift they could give to the galaxy, the promise that no civilization would ever have to face the darkness alone again.